Hello, today we're going to be talking about the types of organizational communication. Within organizations, communication is an essential component. So why is communication important? Communication in the workplace could be used to encourage collaboration, encourage team building, increase employee engagement, resolve any conflicts that may occur in the workplace by being used to come up with effective solutions. It could provide organizations with diverse ideas and opinions, especially if the organization encourages diversity when hiring their employees. It could increase productivity, and just like in any relationship, it could build healthy work relationships and help build positive work environments, which would overall have great benefits for the company. The types of organizational communication include upward communication, downward communication, business communication, and informal communication. So starting off with upward communication, this is the communication within an organization when someone who is of a lower rank or position communicates with someone of a higher position than them. So for example, this could be an employee speaking to their manager or supervisor. And this could be done either through direct communication, which is when the employee directly relays a message to their supervisor, or this could be done through serial communication. And in serial communication, it's when an employee relays a message to their superior, and then that person relays that message to their superior, and so on until it reaches the person in the highest position in the organization. Some problems with this type of communication could be that in serial communication, certain aspects of a message can be changed from person to person. This could include the reason behind the message or the content of the message, and the tone in which the message was intended to be sent in. Another problem is what is called the MUM effect, which stands for minimize unpleasant messages. And this describes the discomfort people feel when relaying bad news, especially when someone is in a superior position to them. This could be a problem because if someone feels uncomfortable sharing a certain message to their superior, then that message may never reach supervisor and could overall go ignored, which could have negative implications for the company. Finally, the last problem with this type of communication is what is called proximity. And this is that people are more likely to relay information to someone who is more physically close to them. So this information could not reach someone who was, say, farther than them, say like down the hall or a level below them. Some examples of upward communication could include attitude surveys. And attitude surveys are questionnaires that employees are given where they're asked to give their opinions on certain work-related issues. This could include pay, working conditions, the environment, or their supervisors. Another example could be focus groups, and focus groups was when someone outside the organization, like a consultant, meets with groups of employees within the organization and they ask them of their opinions about certain work-related issues. There's also exit interviews, or which are interviews that are given to employees who are leaving the organization to see why they are leaving and how that could be used to possibly improve the organization. There's also suggestion and complaint boxes in which it's exactly what it sounds. Employees can leave their suggestions or complaints in a box about the organization, and it's completely done anonymously. There's also third-party facilitators. This is when a third party takes employee opinions and works with the management themselves to help make the necessary changes that the organization needs to make. There's also open door policies, and this is a rule that some organizations have that encourages their employees to discuss work-related issues with their managers or their supervisors. This could include their opinions on certain issues, new ideas, concerns that they have, or suggestions that they may have for the company. And finally, there's company meetings, which company meetings are usually supervisors relaying information to their employees, but it could also be used to gather employee input and see any perspectives that they may have. Moving on to downward communication, this is communication in which someone in a higher level position communicates to someone in a lower level position. So this would be a manager or supervisor speaking to their employee. Downward communication is important for keeping employees within an organization informed and educated on company policies, work-related events, and potential feedback that could possibly help employees improve their performance. Some examples of downward communication could be bulletin boards, and these aren't used to relay important work information, but are rather used to announce things such as events or opportunities that employees could use. There's also policy manuals, and these are handbooks that all employees receive that tell them all the rules and that they have to follow within the organization. There's also newsletters, and these are used to announce information regarding employees or about the organization. This could include if an employee was getting promoted or if there was a new employee being added, or about the organization, such as if there was increase in sales. And it could also be used to provide feedback to the employees. There's also intranets, and these are apps or websites that are exclusive to the company that has all the information that employees may need, which may be forms, event calendars, job listings, places to ask certain questions, etc. More examples include performance feedback and training. Moving on to business communication. This is communication used in order to relay business-related information among those working in the organization. This could include to employees, managers, or supervisors, or even to customers. Some examples of business communication could include telephone calls, video conferences, emails, texting, voicemail, business meeting, and advertisements. To encourage more business communication among employees, organizations can design their offices in different ways. And depending on the designs organizations use, there could be differences in the amount of communication, as well as job satisfaction and productivity. Office designs that encourage the most business communication are ones that are designed more openly. Open offices include open rooms where employees are just divided by, say, a cubicle instead of their own offices, and where communication is accessed more easily. Finally, we have informal communication. This is a communication within an organization that is unrelated to any work-related issues. The term informal comes from the fact that communication is unofficial to organizational tasks or messages, can be distorted or not based on fact, and provide employees with non-work information, power, and entertainment. The way in which this informal communication is transferred is called the grapevine. The grapevine can be classified by 4 patterns. There's the single strand grapevine. This is when one person relays the message to another person, who then relays it to someone else, and so on until the message reaches all it intends to. There's also the gossip grapevine. This is when not everyone receives the message, but the person withholding the message shares it with a group of people of their choosing. There's also the probability grapevine. This is when the message is shared to all employees by a few employees randomly sharing that information to other employees, and so on. Finally, there's the cluster grapevine. This is when the person withholding the message shares it with a group of people of their choosing, who then tells another selected group of people. The people hearing this message can be defined in 3 ways. There's the isolates, the liaisons, and the dead enders. The isolates only receive less than half of the information from the message, while the liaisons receive most of the information and shares it to others. Dead enders receive most of the information but don't share it among others. When it comes to those in manager or upper level positions, most of the time they tend to be liaisons. This could be due to the fact that managers have a higher obligation to share any information that could affect the company, even if that information doesn't necessarily pertain to work. The types of information in informal communication can include gossip, and this is information based on little to no factual evidence about other people that is unrelated to the individual sharing the information. Finally, there's rumors, and this is information that can be usually based on little to no factual evidence that are usually about other people or certain topics that is relevant to the individual or individuals sharing the information.